Welcome to our fantastic coffee talk at Ignition. If you don't have a cup of coffee, they have them at the brew. But we also, here at Ignition, I was informed, they have lovely mimosas in the back in the 21 and over area, plus other drinks. So feel free to partake. You know what? Have a couple drinks in the morning. The coffee talk will be even more interesting. I don't know. Just a couple housekeeping notes. This area right here, you guys, I'm sorry, we can't have that as a standing area. If you could just move back to the next section. Thank you. It's a fire hazard, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes. Thank you, Tim. Well, welcome everybody to our third day of the 2018 Riverbend Film Festival. So glad to see you all here today. And thank you to all of our filmmakers for coming here early in the morning to do a quick coffee talk.
Yeah.
So this is day 3, our final day of the fest, and we're starting off with this talk back, but we have a day full of films, fantastic blocks. We're going to be highlighting a lot of Indiana filmmakers today. Make sure that you check your program or riverbendfilmfest.com on when those blocks are, and you don't want to miss it. We have so much talent in this state. I want to also mention a couple of things. One is that Ignition Music Garage is one of our sponsors, and if you haven't been here before, after the coffee talk, make sure you check out all the cool vibes that are happening here. They have amazing records, and they have amazing concerts on this stage. Tim, do you guys have anything coming up on the schedule?
Yes, we do. We have Seth Lear in June.
Seth Lear in June. Grammy Num.
Let's see, I can't think of all their names.
David Rodriguez. Fantastic. The Main Squeeze is coming back. That's a Goshen favorite. Do they have? Is everything currently listed on your website right now? And you guys? Yes, fantastic. So yeah, this is a new schedule system. You guys are just getting it all up. So check out ignitionmusic.com.net. .net, that's right. So yeah, come back. This is like the best place for shows. It's just so much fun, as you could probably imagine. This morning's coffee talk is called In Focus. So we're focusing on each of these filmmakers. They're at various different stages of their career, and it's very exciting to have a brand new filmmaker all the way to seasoned filmmakers that are on this panel. So I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you, Dave, so much for moderating for us.
Thank you. Hey, it's great. I guess I should use the microphone. I've got a microphone, I should use it. It's fantastic to see everybody out on this beautiful last day of the festival. Thank you, Ignition, Tim and Julie. Thank you, Jerry and Five Core for getting all of our tech stuff arranged. You guys are doing a great job making it very low stress. Thank you so much. Good morning, and it's a fantastic day to be up here with these fantastic filmmakers. It's going to be kind of a brief, just a glance into their work. You're just going to get to know them a little bit today, and then there'll be some time for audience questions a little bit later. And I think, do we have much time to hang out afterward, or are we getting booted? Do we have to? That is the other thing. So this is a great place to hang out, to look through the records, and of course purchase records as well. Right. All right. Well, since we only have an hour, this time will be mainly just an introduction into what these filmmakers do, but we'll have some time right at the end for questions, and we'll open that up for you guys. And we are ready to, let's take a quick peek at what these guys do. So, yeah.
Hi, thanks for coming this morning. My name's Amanda Kulkoski. I am the director and producer of Through the Windmill. I am originally from Green Bay, Wisconsin, so I am a fellow Midwesterner, but I live in Savannah, Georgia right now. I was actually Dave's professor.
She was my shot design professor in grad school. I know we're roughly the same age, but she is my mentor.
Yeah, so thank you very much. My movie's at 11:30, so learned a lot about miniature golf.
Hi, my name is Abby Shetler. I originally from Indianapolis, now live here in Goshen College grad. Yeah. Our film showed yesterday. I'm the co-director and producer of Goshen Monologues, The Storytellers, which does an overview of the Goshen Monologues first theatrical performance at Goshen College in 2014.
My name's Zachary Spicer. I am an actor in The Good Catholic and producer of, thanks. Producer and owner of Pegasus Pictures. And I also got to co-direct this young lady's first film, Through the Window, which is screening at, I think,
It's in
the student block today.
Student block.
Student block, so everybody should check that out.
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Kira. I am from Madison, Indiana. I am a college student, and like Zach said, I wrote Through the Window, and he helped me direct.
We should say that you shouldn't get Through the Windmill confused with Through the
Right.
Window.
Very different movies.
Two different movies. Yes. Both fantastic.
And yours is showing at 11:30, right? And yours is at 4?
Yeah.
Right, okay, cool. Stephen Susco, I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but I went to school here in Indiana, so I'm not really a native, but I feel like I should be.
We good?
Hey, I'm from Goshen. I'm Shubi. I feel like I've been here forever.
In a good way.
I'm writer and director of Hotel Salvation, which you saw on the first night, hopefully. And, oh, wow, thanks. But the highlight of my life happened yesterday when,
Common Spirits.
when Common Spirits named a shot after me. And I don't know where to go from here because I can only go down now.
What's the shot called?
It's called the Shubi shot. I swear to God. So this is why I am now changing my passport and telling people I'm from Goshen. So thank you.
I just realized how diverse this team is. Wow, it's like everything from lighthearted documentary to horror to heartfelt, amazing dramas. So one more round of applause for these filmmakers. So Amanda, we're thrilled that you could make it up from Savannah. It's great to see you again. I have 3 questions about the documentary, and I'm sure people later will have more questions, but what was the inspiration? How did you get funded? And how many courses did you end up hitting to make the doc? And we don't want to give too much away, because as you mentioned earlier, we're screening at 11:30 at Goshen Theater, right?
So my first job was at a miniature golf course when I was 15 years old. I was one of those kids who were truly just kind of obsessed with mini golf. I like kitsch objects like giant windmills or a dinosaur or something like that. I'm just really happy when. So it made sense for my first job to be at a miniature golf course. And actually my second job, I left the mini golf to work at a record store. So it's kind of appropriate to be here. During grad school, there was a old putt course, and it was pretty much in disrepair, and it was $1 or $2 a round. I mean, it was really falling apart, but we went all the time, my friends and I, and it was dirt cheap, and we had so much fun. And the love for mini golf that's where this documentary idea stemmed from. So a few years later, I got a small grant from the school, and I just started. There was no research, or very little research online. On miniature golf, there was a book made in the 80s, and so I went online and just kind of researched a little bit of what courses were available, and almost everything I found out was going to one of those courses and then word of mouth to the next course and to the next course and to the next course. So overall, I had probably visited about 60 courses, maybe a little bit more. Which was great. I got a chance to drive across America and go play at miniature golf courses. So it was pretty amazing. So I had a small grant and a little bit of an Indiegogo. And then majority of it is self-funded. I work in camera and lighting on large union pictures along with teaching, and that's how I funded the film. And it's the most rewarding thing I've done so far.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and we'll have. Thank you. Yeah, we'll have a more in-depth Q&A after it screens at 11:30 at Goshen Theater. Right. Abby, your film, Goshen Monologues, premiered. It had its festival premiere yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Here at Riverbend. And so, how did you get involved with this project? How did this project come to be? And how did you end up becoming involved with it? Because you were sort of a cast member, but you were also behind the scenes directing with Elizabeth, correct?
Yeah. Where's Elizabeth? Hey. The reason it even exists is because of her. So I actually wrote a story and submitted it to Goshen Monologues. Little bit of history on Goshen Monologues. It's a community project where women and non-binary individuals, students, faculty, and staff sent in letters to our director, Lauren Schreiber, who then created kind of a performance, but mostly just monologues. And then women, students, faculty, and staff at Goshen College then performed these. So I was very interested in the project. I had sent in a story. I didn't feel like I could be a storyteller, but I wanted to capture this kind of experience. And so this was originally a homework assignment, a 7-minute video. And after the first day, I went, oh, no, that's not gonna happen. So there was no pre-planning, there was no, I just had my camera and I just followed people around and I hoped for the best. But the story was so important. And a lot of people have talked to us about, it's, with the Me Too movement now, it's really relevant. And to that, I would say, no, it's always been relevant. And that's kind of this idea that it's not just my story's in there, but so many people's stories are in there. Everyone in this room can relate to these stories. So I filmed it all my junior year, didn't touch it for a year, and asked my co-director if she would be willing to help me edit it, because I realized, I guess one person can't do this, so 2 people, that'll be fine. So we edited an hour 20 film in 3 months while in college. So that is the product we have. We shortened it for the Film Fest. It's a little more manageable, 45 minutes rather than an hour 20. But yeah, so it was a great time, and we're hoping to, this is our 3rd film festival that we've been in.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, so this is our first time going because we didn't really want to travel to LA.
Okay.
It's a little easier when you live like 5 minutes down the road. So we're hoping to finalize the longer version, make that streamable, because people have been asking me for like 4 years, and I have lied to them, saying it would be done soon. I was going to ask you that question, yeah. Yeah, but now with a little bit, both of us, Elizabeth and I, have a lot more experience, can edit a little faster. Adobe Premiere is a little bit better than it was 4 years ago. That really helps. Right. So yeah, we'll have that available to stream hopefully by the end of August is what we're hoping for, and to make it kind of an educational tool, because there are a lot of people who want to do a similar project, and this kind of shows them what that looks like and how to do that. It's not necessarily instructional, but it's a good tool for that.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Abby. Yeah. Zachary Spicer, congratulations on your Best Actor Award from last night.
Thanks.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Excellent performance.
It was a lot of fun.
So The Good Catholic's a brilliant movie, and it's the first of 6 films that your company, Pegasus
Pictures.
I was up late, all right? Pegasus Pictures, it's the first of 6 films that are going to be made in Indiana by you guys.
Yeah, over the next 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, we finished our 2nd film. It's called Ms. Whitelight. We finished that up in November of last year, and we're in the end process of post of it now. So it should be coming out hopefully through the festival circuit later this year. And then we're filming 2 this summer. Ill-advised. And then we've got 2 more set for next year. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to that for obvious reasons. We want Pegasus Pictures films to keep coming back to Riverbend, so keep making those movies, yeah. And you're sitting right next to Kira Daniels, and I want you to talk a little bit about her, but also talk a little bit about Pegasus, Project Pegasus.
Project Pegasus.
Yeah.
We put all those P's in there. You're going to get messed up all day.
Alliteration's not my thing
Yeah.
this morning, no.
Yeah. So so down in Bloomington, that's where we're housed, and at the same time that we started Pegasus Pictures, we started our nonprofit arm of it, which is like the Pegasus Institute. It runs a bunch of different programs, but one of them that it runs is Project Pegasus, where we do this high school short film screenplay competition. And we get dozens and dozens and dozens of screenplays from all across the state. And we did it for the very first time last year, and luckily for us, we got to meet young Kira down in Madison, Indiana. Anybody from Madison or ever been to Madison? There you go.
Right here.
Yeah. Old friends.
Clifty Falls. That's Madison, right?
what's
Clifty
that?
Falls, isn't Clifty Falls there?
Yeah. And so we took our film crew down there. We raised a bunch of money, and then we produced Kira's first short film. And then when The Good Catholic came out last year, we took it on a tour with The Good Catholic all around the state. So we screened it in Elkhart because we hadn't been to Goshen. We didn't know this was a thing. And we screened it at the Lerner Theater with 80 people in the audience, which is a great crowd when the auditorium doesn't seat 1,600 people. But that was the first place that we screened through the window, and then we took it all around the state. Now we get to share it with you guys.
Well, Kira, it's great to see you. Thank you for making the trek from, what is that, a 5-hour trip from
yes.
Madison, Indiana, up to here?
It is, I'm fairly new to driving. It is the longest I have driven in my life so far, by myself.
Well, your film, Through the Window, it plays at 4:30 in the Student Filmmakers block, and we're looking forward to people coming out to that block to see this. So, you mentioned in the trailer that winning Pegasus, Project Pegasus, was an experience that you'll never forget. How has it changed? Are you still writing? Are you still producing work? Are you going to continue into screenwriting, or do you want to direct?
I'm not 100% what I want to do with my life right now. I am a freshman in college, so right now all I'm doing is just trying to do my basic stuff and
Yes.
get through it. I definitely, I still write a lot, and definitely creating is a big part of my life. What media, what direction I want it to go in, I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm still thinking about it.
So would you have advice for young screenwriters who have an idea, and what advice would you give young people as they begin? And I guess I'm speaking primarily to Indiana students, because we have Michigan students here today too, by the way. But thank you guys for coming. Thanks very much for coming. They came with Break My Bones and Anthony and David, so thank you all for being here. But it is limited to Indiana, is that right? The Project Pegasus?
For now.
Okay, so it may grow out. But anyway, we're going to franchise.
I guess my advice would be to put yourself out there. Even if you think it's crappy, you just have to put yourself out there. You have to go and actively look for these opportunities to showcase what you have, and because you're not going to get anything out of it if you don't. You're not. And that's the thing is, I did Project Pegasus not because I thought I was going to win, but because I, at that time, needed to do something for myself. And I just happened to win. And I feel like it was because I put myself out there.
That's important. Yeah, thank you. That's good advice, Kira. Well, Stephen. Yeah, thank you. We had a blast last night. We screened Stephen's directorial debut, Unfriended Dark Web, and congratulations on your award, Friend of the Festival Award. You've been involved with us for this is your first time in Goshen for the festival, but you've been involved, you have a long history with Riverbend Film Festival, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 12 or 13 years. I don't know if Tim is here to correct the record on that, but yeah. Sure. Yeah?
Well, thank you
It's
so
been
much.
56 years involved in the festival.
Well, it was, how many of you made it to the late nights? It was 10:30 screening, it was the horror film. And if you stuck around long enough, afterward, our brilliant tech people and Stephen coordinated a Skype in with the actors. And if you know anything about the movie, can I talk about the movie? Yeah. It takes place on Skype, right? And it's a horror film. And so we're Skyping these actors in from various places, but mostly, was it LA?
Yeah, mostly LA. Yeah.
And it was we all felt like they were going to die because we just watched the movie where.
And actually, one of their phones died halfway through, and they just disappeared.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that was a blast, and thank you so much for hooking that up. That was a great idea, and it really added another nice layer to the festival.
I just wish I could have had all 6 of them. It's true chaos with those 6 people.
That would have been quite nice. What advice would you give you've been in the business you've been writing and producing for over 20 years. And I thought you had some really brilliant things to say over the last couple of days about what you should do if you're interested in this business. And what advice we have so many young people and people who may not be so young but want to get into this. What would you tell them?
Exactly what she said.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just put yourself out there and do it. I mean, for me, I grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is where they filmed Witness, and so filmmaking was just something that I loved and had absolutely no idea how to get involved in. And it's one of the reasons I'm so connected to Indiana is because when I was at school, when I was at Notre Dame, is when they filmed Rudy, and the director David Anspaugh actually produced Good Catholic too, and so Hollywood came to town. And everybody who was working on that film, who were just the most wonderful people, they were all from this area, or they were incredibly gracious. And they got the theater students involved, and they got the film students involved, and it was sort of my first time seeing not just how it actually happened, but everyone said, "Oh yeah, you don't have to be from California. You don't have to be the son of George Lucas or whatever. Most people there are from somewhere else. You just have to go for it." And it was really just. That's I think all I needed to get started was to have someone say, "Oh, totally, you can totally do this. I'm from this place. I'm from that place. Everyone's from somewhere else. You just have to try it. So pack up and do it. Pack up, move to California, and do it. And that's essentially the same thing she said. And thanks to the sort of democratization of the tools now, you don't need to pack up to California and do it anymore, which is awesome because sometimes there are places better than California.
Well, Unfriended Dark Web is actually, you mentioned last night, it's mutable, so it's changing until it hits the theaters, and then it won't.
I'm literally
change
getting
anymore.
texts right now from the editor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changing right now. Yeah. Tuesday is the last day the movie can change.
And then we'll see it in theaters roughly, do you know about when?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say, right? Well,
I'm waiting for the gods on Mount Olympus to tell me when and if the movie will ever be seen. So,
yeah. Well, I know there are I know there are some young filmmakers who really want to talk to you today. So hopefully we get to make that happen. I know that Carrie Lee mentioned that she was going to organize something there, so I hope that can happen.
Just catch me between movies because I haven't seen their movies yet. I'm going to be at
so between those shorts blocks.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah. Can I call you Shubi since there's a shot named after you now?
Sure,
or is
yeah.
it Shubhashish?
No, Shubhi's good.
Okay.
I'm around friends right now, so it's all
That's good. Yes, you are around friends. Well, congratulations on winning Best Narrative Film on opening night of Riverbend Film Festival.
Thanks.
If you haven't seen Hotel Salvation, it's absolutely brilliant. And when will we be able to? I know it's going to be streaming soon, right? When will people
I'm
be able to see
actually
it?
gonna meet my distributor on next Monday, so I'll let you know in 9 days, and then we can figure it out.
All right, cool. Well, one of the things that I really admire about your work is you seem to be you're wise beyond your years when it comes to storytelling, and so I just kind of wondered. I had written this out more brilliantly than I'm actually saying it now. It was no, don't take my notes away. But my brain's hurting. Let's see here. Oh, here's what I said, and I want to get this right. Shubi, you're wise beyond your years in regards to writing and directing, and you've been able to create powerfully emotional films that transcend language. See, I couldn't have said that without the script today. What do you feel like has to happen in order to get authenticity out of your actors?
I don't know. I think no. I don't know how. You know, even when you're shooting, you're just hoping it feels authentic when you're watching it and editing. You know, and I think it's. So I think you know, I'm an emotional person, and when you're growing up, it's something that's held against you in some weird way. You know, if you're really like me, but then I got into the right job. You know, with this what felt like a flaw at that point. And when you're making a film, if you feel that moment, if it makes you laugh while you're shooting it, or it makes you feel something while you're making it, or whatever it is, I think that's how it feels authentic. You know, if it just feels, I think it's such we're lucky to be working in a thing that's so instinctive. And so I think it's really, and there are times it doesn't work. That's why we take so many takes, and we take out scenes in the editing, and sometimes we construct performance on the table. So I think we don't. It's such a mystic. We were just talking yesterday about how mystical this whole business is. It's not really a business for me, but I just mean this whole line of work is. I wish I had words to say how it can feel that way. But thanks. Yeah.
Great. Well, I wish I could let you all just continue to talk, but I want to give the audience, at least we're running short on time, but we have time for probably 3 questions if there are any out here. Susco.
I have a question for Shubi. Given the current kind of cultural debate about stereotypes with Southern Asian characters.
You mean the Simpsons thing?
I mean the Simpsons thing. I just kind of wanted to hear you weigh in. You know, has that, how much has that affected the stories that you bring and the films that you decide to make? And I just wanted to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so I don't want to be the aggressor in this conversation. Let me talk about me from the outside a little bit. So let's talk about, I'm not going to put it culturally because I think there's different things. So let's say women characters. It's something, I don't identify myself as a male writer, but it's something I can see that I need to work on. And I think it's about trying to be as conscious as possible and letting people read your scripts so that people can point out what's not working, and to be really aware, because I think we have to be really sensitive of what we put as the media is so influential. So I'm personally really, really conscious of how I depict female characters. It's something important to me. And as far as cultural thing, of course, stereotyping is really horrible because I've lived abroad a bunch of times, and you know, you have people who make it as a joke, do the Simpsons voice with you or whatever it is, and it's funny, sure, if you're friends, but I think at some point it's also creating a barrier that you have to kind of keep overcoming. So I think you know, we should just constantly check each other, and sometimes, you know, you know, to be honest, I love stereotyping in some way because I think as long as I grew up in a very international environment in a school, and as long as you're making fun of everybody, I think it's all good. But I think I also think as long as you can make fun of people with respect. I think and you can always tell, you know, you can always tell when someone is not doing it in the right spirit. So I love making fun. I love being made fun of. You can go ahead. I'm very self-deprecating. But I think in media especially, I personally, and I think we all should be as conscious and aware of what we put out there, because not everybody is your friend, you know, you're talking to strangers, and we should be really sensitive to, I think, these kind of things. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I guess for the lady from Savannah, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I haven't seen your film yet, but in the snippet that was shown, one of the things that just drew me in right away to putting me in a mood to want to watch this sort of whimsical documentary, I guess it is, was the music. So I'm wondering, can you talk to us a little bit about how the music came about?
Sure. So when I was doing my Indiegogo campaign, I was online and trying to find, at that time, music that I could use for relatively not much money. And so I found one guy who, if you put his name on it that he would let you use it for free. And I fell in love with his music and ended up hiring him to score the entire film. And it was really strange how it happened, because I found out that he was actually from my hometown and friends with my best friend since we were 4 years old on the same soccer team. So we ended up, and he plays the accordion, and like he's just great. So his name's Kevin MacLeod, and I had him do about 95% of the music. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Is that the same McLeod that does the YouTube for all those free downloads and stuff?
It is. It is. I've been to his house, and he's absolutely amazing. He's a complete genius. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have time for one more question.
I'm surprised I slept as well as I did last night. But with your investigation for the screenwriting, did you get scared a lot? Because I've heard this dark web is real. So how far did you have to go into it for your research? How scary?
How did you survive?
Yeah, it's certainly real. One of the things I wanted to do with the movie was make sure that everything that happened in it has happened. So everything that you saw was based on something that happened. Sorry. So for those of you, the basic way to sort of summarize it is the internet. If you sort of imagine the Earth, the internet is sort of the top, and as far, there's a word for it, I think it's the mesosphere, which is as far as light penetrates into the ocean. When it gets dark, the twilight zone, it's called the bathysphere, that is the deep web. And deep web is basically just stuff that search engines can't find. It's just detritus, it's just a bunch of crap. The dark web is this area that's sort of built way down there that's encrypted. And that's where all these sort of marketplaces are, and that's where a lot of crime syndicates operate. And so I talked with a lot of people before I went swimming into the the depths of that area, and learned a lot about how to sort of hide your tracks and hide your identity and make sure that if you went swimming, people wouldn't sort of notice you and follow you out. And I don't know if I was successful or not, but I haven't had anything weird happen so far, which is good. But I'm sorry, that was a long-winded way to say yes, I did a lot of research. Yes, it scared the hell out of me. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to make the movie, because it scared me, and I think people aren't paying enough attention to what we're doing with our sort of online lives.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to let Carrie Lee come up here, and that's all the time we have. But I know the filmmakers are going to hang for a little bit. Amanda, you may have to leave soon. Well, maybe not.
I have a half an hour.
You have half an hour. We have half an hour. Good, good.
Thank you so much again to our filmmakers. Thank you so much for being here, taking the time to have coffee and chat. Thanks, Dave. Oh, Shubi has something, yes?
My question is, I've never played miniature golf in my whole life. Is there a miniature golf in Goshen?
You know what? There's two that are just outside of Goshen, right? New Paris. That's right. There's one in New Paris, which is
Who's
about
taking me? I don't
10
have a
minutes,
car.
15 minutes away.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We go after your movie. We go after the movie, okay.
I guarantee you that you'll want to go miniature golf. Everybody will after you see this film. Speaking of, at 11 o'clock, there's a short block called The Great Big World playing at Art House. If you want to go see Through the Windmill, Amanda's film, that's going to be at the Goshen Theater at 11:30. You guys check your programs for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. We'll see you later.